This is a zero death game, guys. I didn't die. We kind of smashed here, but I'm gonna show what, some good habits to practice. So I specifically use my speed amp at the door, just because I know that typically in this map, my team doesn't take a lot of damage in the front. So I speed them out and I move out just to get them into a position around my team. And of course I immediately
inadvertently buff Tracer as well, because now
I immediately regroup with my team. I know that I have 1 second before my aura actually stopped affecting them, so I don't think I ever actually stopped having my aura on my team, and I immediately got back to healing them. But now I'm checking the enemy team. That's good habits. Good habits. We want to practice good habits here. Checking the enemy team, and I'm just gonna stay around them.
Zarya.
That's Zarya. I'm saving my amp for my team. I see my Zarya's taking damage, so I save my amp for her. I'm only healing one person, so I move out there. There we go. Now I'm healing 4 people. There we go.
Trying to snipe me.
Yep. I know that they have a Hanzo. I know I'm paying attention to the fact that he exists. Oh, we're moving in. I used to use my speed buff to move in, and then I sprint back to my heal buff as soon as I still see people taking damage. And I even amped that speed buff. So I use my passive. I use my heal buff just a little bit there to get my team back into combat faster. Now I use my speed buff again here just to get back into combat faster.
Let's go.
There we go. Now we're back to heal buff. Heal buff most of the time, and speed buff at opportune moments. Now I got my amp. And I got my amp. And we're on it. I am on fire!
I am on fire!
Oh, I am on fire.
Moving as fast as I can.
Alright, now I stay on the payload. I want this payload moving as much as possible.
Can I crouch behind this thing?
And I found a use for the crouch button. I crouch behind to stay out of the enemy's line of sight because I know they have a Hondo that can snipe me immediately. I know they have a Hondo, so I just constantly stay on the payload out of line of sight. I want this thing moving as much as possible.
Can I?
And they're off doing their own thing, but I need to be on the payload. The payload is what actually wins you the game. So if they actually want to get heals, they come to the payload. The payload actually heals you on attack as well. And I have my ult as like a panic button.
I don't need to bounce around unnecessarily.
Yeah, I don't. Okay, now I'm being attacked. Now I move, but I don't need to bounce around while I'm not being attacked.
So I have an emergency button.
So I moved the wrong way. That's why I have the panic button.
Out of position there.
I moved the wrong way.
I have an emergency button.
No, that's why I had the panic button ready. Now I can keep the payload moving. That was worth it because I could keep the payload moving. Notice I'm the only one actually pushing the payload. I want this payload motion as much as possible because if they like the last half of the last half of this is like really hard to actually, win. So I want us to have as much time as possible to push the point to the last objective. Push the objective to the last point, or however you want to say it. So I'm just constantly on the, even when my team isn't on it. I never leave it. I never leave it. It's like I'm glued. It's like I'm glued to this thing. And now I noticed the enemy team has changed. One person left because we were smashing them, and they changed to a Mei. Mei's actually really good at pushing Lucio off the payload, but he doesn't. Oh, now I back up because I heard the Junkrat out. I want to shoot at it. Woo, yeah, that's a long range. I want to shoot at it. Oh, now I'm just gonna jump back on it.
I'm gonna get it on it.
I know. You can be like 5 feet away from it and still be pushing it.
She's taking out that turret.
Diva's taking out the turret.
Are they actually gonna stop me?
Like they're not even on the payload. They're not even stopping me from pushing the payload.
I guess I just keep pushing it.
Yeah, I mean, if they're not gonna stop me, I just keep pushing. Like
do damage at the point. I will be elevated on top of the payload and dodging Junkrat bombs and
yeah.
Continue pushing it.
If they're not gonna stop me, I mean, I guess I'll keep pushing.
Payload is approaching its destination. I got my amp.
Yep. I got my amp just in case for emergencies. I'm paying attention to that cooldown.
He's gonna.
Oh boy. And I knock people away because it gives me a few seconds. If there's 1 person or 2 people on the payload and I knock both of them away, then that allows me to push it for like a second and a half, which is every second matters. So that's nice. Oh, more than poor. Damn, but I got my ult.
Got the point.
Got my ult. Woo! There we go. That was a quick one. That was a quick zero death game. This just show you some good habits. How I just constantly stay on the payload, like I'm glued to it. And this is like my 6th game in the row that I've won. 5 or 6. I can't count. I think it's 6. As Lucio, this
game win streak in solo queue.
Yeah, and this is solo queue. This is all solo queue. All solo queue. Just show you guys some good Lucio habits to win those games. Play the objective, guys. Play the objective. Alright.
When your team's good, enhance them. When your team's bad, carry them.
Look at that. That quote. When your team is good, enhance them. When your team is bad, carry them.